Hello friends, welcome to TMXing Adventures. It is Lisa here and I'm getting ready for dinner today. We are going to be having pulled pork on beautiful sourdough gluten-free bread that my 14-year-old has tenderly been loving the sourdough starter over the last 10 days or so, and finally his first loaf of bread. So tonight I'm going to use this pulled pork recipe to make the pulled pork, but we're going to put it with the sourdough gluten-free loaf that he has made. So let's get straight into this recipe. Do say hi if you're watching on. Remember to share these videos. Do you know someone who has a Thermomix and needs to know how easy and quick it can be to make pulled pork? It doesn't have to be a big exercise that takes all day. It can be literally done within about half an hour. So really easy when you've seen how, which is why I want you to share these videos. Okay, so we're going to go start on this recipe. We're then going to put in some taco seasoning. Now you can find the taco spice mix on Cookidoo. This one I've had forever, like forever. And hang on a second, where I'm jumping ahead of myself. So I'm going to be using that today. I think I even traveled with it in my caravan. So I am looking here, it's got red onions. I've got some homegrown green. I'm going to chuck that in. That's pretty good. I love it when it's close like that. Some oil, 20 grams. And then our taco mix, which is where I was going before. But yeah, I think we've had this since our traveling days and it's finally coming to an end. 1 to 2 tablespoons. Oh, it's actually a bit, that smells right. I was going to say it's a bit soft. It is. It feels like I need to put like one of those dehumidifying little tab things in it. 1 to 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to put 1.5. I know that the youngest will complain if it's spicy. This is not overly spicy. I've intentionally not made it spicy, but still it's got a little bit in it. So I won't go 2 tablespoons. I'll go a little easy to keep him happy. Let's go next. Chop 10-second speed 4. Let me know if you've made this recipe. I'd love to know. All right, press play. Off we go. You can do this on whatever model you've got. Don't feel like you have to have a TM7 to do this on. However, if you'd like to have a demonstration with the TM7 model Thermomix, reach out. I'd love to help you learn more about the TM7, and particularly if you live in Australia. I can't help you overseas, but those of you in Australia, I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spatula. This is not a TM7 spatula, this is a TM6, but that's okay. It'll do the job. You can see how great of a chop the Thermomix does. I love it. No chopping, like on a chopping board. Who does that? Not when we've got a Thermomix. All right, next. It's going to cook for 5 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 1. So that goes on like that, and I can just then move on to either putting away ingredients or getting out ingredients. So I'm going to stop the camera because I need to chop up my pork loin in a moment, and that's going to actually marinate. So I will see you in 5 minutes time for the next step. So we'll see you soon. Okay, it's singing at me to come back to it. I love how quiet it is, the TM7. Like the amount of times I look up and go, did I press play? Oh, you are going, but you're so quiet. My goodness. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so next up, we've got some rice malt syrup, 20 grams. So I'm actually going to use some homegrown honey. 20 grams is not a huge amount. I'm hoping this is enough. I may need a spatula. We'll see how we go. Oh, and I'm starting backwards. That's all right. If you don't have rice malt, you don't have honey, you could use a maple syrup. I reckon you could even just use like a normal sugar. I don't think it has to be liquid. It's going to dissolve in there anyway. So you could just use raw sugar. Don't feel like you have to dash to the shops to buy rice malt or honey or maple. Okay, so apple cider vinegar, 50 grams. Don't know why we're starting on backwards today. Oh, I've got my lid against it. That's why. Okay. Mind you, it is warm today. I have been running around like a crazy lady, getting rid of the flies. I love the warm weather. I do not love the flies. Okay, if you don't have apple cider vinegar, use white wine vinegar. Use what you've got. If you've got an old wine, I was going to say, old wine sounds terrible, but if you've got like a non-sweet wine in the fridge that, would be a cooking wine, I reckon you could use that instead. That would work fine as well. Okay, Worcestershire sauce, 40 grams. If you're GF, just make sure you pick a GF Worcestershire sauce. You can make your own. There's a recipe on Cookidoo to make your own. So you can check that out. Obviously, I'm picking my battles lately, so I'm not making my own. I will get back into that place one day. I don't know when. Soy sauce for 20 grams. Here this goes. Oh, let's tick that one off. So this is about a tablespoon. I do love the scale, so it means you don't have to measure things with like a measuring spoon, right? Saving all this washing up. Canned chopped tomatoes. Now, I buy my tomatoes in bulk, or I try and cook them down. These are bought in bulk. And then I freeze the leftovers. So this is actually frozen, and I don't know how much. We just divvy it up. And you see it's still frozen, a little bit over. That's okay. That'll be fine. Okay, and then tomato paste, 50 grams, which of course, I don't think I've said this a lot lately. If you don't have tomato paste on hand, before you start this recipe, cook a tin of tomatoes down for, look at that, 20 minutes for aroma. Speed 2, and it condenses to tomato paste. I got that exactly right. How cool is that? All right, so now we're going to cook this for 4 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 1. We'll press play. So I'll be back in 4 minutes, put some of these things away and clean up the space, and we'll continue on together. We'll see you soon. Okay, welcome back. It's just sung at me. I've just come back to it, and it says now put this into a large bowl to cool for half an hour. Then you're supposed to actually put your meat in it and let it sit for at least another hour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool. You don't want to put your meat, okay, sidestep. You could continue on with the recipe here without marinating your meat. It is going to be nicer if you do take an hour to marinate your meat. However, if you're going to do that, you need to let the sauce cool. You do not want your meat going into hot sauce marinade to then sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, as it chills down. Your cold meat getting hot, then cooling. You don't want that. That's a recipe for getting sick. So you've got to make a choice. If you're in a hurry, continue with the recipe as it is. Don't give it the half an hour rest, the hour marinade. Just continue on. I've got the time today that I'm going to let it rest. So over the next hour and a half, I'm going to give it half an hour here to cool down. I'm going to then put the meat in this bowl because I don't want to dirty another bowl anyway, and it all goes back in later anyway. Give it an hour, and then I'm going to come online and I'm going to show you how to finish this beautiful recipe together. So I hope that makes sense. If you do have questions and need clarification, I don't mind hearing from you, but I'll see you in an hour and a half. And by that time, this meat will have gone in, marinated an hour, and then I'll come back and we'll do the next step together. So I'll see you soon. Step. You can see my bowl is 40 degrees because you had to let that mix rest. I do talk about how to shortchange that though. So if you don't have the time for the marinating, I talk about how to do that. So we've got now a simple 20 minutes, 90 degrees, speed 1, reverse cook. And I'm going to press play on that and it's going to off it go and do its thing. I'd love to know as you're watching on, have you made pulled pork in your Thermomix? Is this something you are skilled at and you have in your repertoire of what you can do? The first time I was ever introduced to one of the fast cooked pulled pork recipes was actually Mother's Day. I remember Greg and the boys actually making this for a Mother's Day lunch with some beautiful gluten-free burgers, and they made like some sort of beetroot relish, and it was just amazing. So if you've never made it, put it on your to-dos. And if you don't eat pork, that's okay. Do it with chicken thighs. It's amazing, okay? It's such a, the marinade and the flavors through are absolutely beautiful. So if you don't do pork, that's okay. Do it with chicken. It's just as good. So this is a really quick video today on Facebook, just telling you to get over to YouTube tonight at 6 o'clock and watch the entirety of this. Get inspired. By the way, as well, I'm about to put together a newsletter for you. So if you're not a subscriber, do subscribe. I know some of you are subscribers and you've been like, hey, Lisa, we haven't seen news from you. Am I still on the list? It's been a good 6 to 8 weeks since I've had 2 seconds to do a newsletter. I do apologize. I don't spam your inbox, as you know. I don't have time. I wish I could. No, I don't wish I could spam it. I wish I could connect more is what I wish I had the ability and the time to do lately. I feel like time is just running away from us. And all of a sudden we're what? 9 or 8 weekends away from Christmas, which is kind of crazy. And on that note of Christmas, remember, if you want to get a TM7 under the Christmas tree, getting your orders in ASAP, okay, so that you can actually have an easier and a simpler Christmas season, making amazing foods, whether it be to gift to people or whether it be to actually serve up this Christmas season. It doesn't have to cost a lot to put amazing food on the table when you've got a Thermo. Okay, welcome back. Let's get this recipe finished. We are so close to being done. So we're going to use the simmering basket to carefully strain the liquid into the jug. This is so we can shred it, okay? So we're going to grab this. Hopefully this is big enough. Let's see if we can not make too much mess. This meat looks beautiful and tender. Just rearrange myself a little bit. There we go. In it goes. I'm actually not going to be too precious about this. Only because I'm making a really big mess. So I really should not worry too much. So I'll take some of the liquid out. I do want to, usually they put the liquid back in and they thicken it with corn flour. I'm going to do something a little different. So I'm actually going to take this meat, put this back in, because I don't want to fuss around with it too much. And we're going to grab our, it says, put the strained pork into the Thermomix and shred for 5 seconds, reverse P5. So I'm still going to let that do that. I'll let it shred. And then it wants us to put it aside. I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm not going to put this aside like it asked me to. I'm going to actually, ooh, that looks yummy. Tells you to put the reserve liquid back into the bowl. So they're asking us to put the meat aside, empty bowl, liquid in, and then we're going to thicken it. I'm not going to do that. I don't feel like fussing around. We're just going to simply do that. We're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour. Now, I do have to make sure this next step doesn't chop it. So it says cook 5 minutes. Now, it has a forward blade. I'm going to reverse the blade because I do not want to chop that, that beautiful meat up any further than it already is. On speed 2, I can also check out what's going on in there. So I'm actually going to open the lid because I have a sneaking feeling that this corn flour will be dancing on the top for a second and I need to go a little faster for a moment. So let's have a swizz. Yep, there it is. So let's get this included. It is on reverse, which is what we want. Let's go up to speed. What do we do? 5 a second ago to shred. Give it a second. Now come back down to 2. So that will just get that corn flour into the mix. And if I have a little look now, that's better. And actually, you know what? It's done. I don't need to do any longer. That corn flour has gone through the mix. And I'll just check there's no sign of it, but it's also thickened that sauce up. Look at that. It's like perfect gravy now. Oh my goodness. It smells divine. And look at that perfect pulled meat. Yum. So there you go. There's my shortcut hack. Don't even bother straining it aside. It just makes a whopping mess. So just leave it in there, shred it, add the corn flour. You could even put the corn flour in at that shredding step, right? I reckon that would work. So just rewrite that last part. When you get to the cooked off stage and that meat and everything has been cooked, put 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour, do the shred step, and because everything is still hot, it's over 90 degrees, it will thicken beautifully and you'll be done. Let's not make more mess than we need to, like I have today. So if you need help or clarification on that, let me know. But pretty much, I think that sums it up. We're ready to go for dinner. We're ready to put this on beautiful sandwiches on the awesome gluten-free sourdough. I'm so excited. But give this recipe a go. It is so stunning. I'm just going to check that I haven't... It tells you then how to make your beautiful coleslaw, which I'm not doing. But this is your pulled pork with apple slaw, which we're not doing that part of it. We're just doing the pulled pork. If you need a quick pulled pork, this is for you. It is beautiful. If you don't want this much, this is nearly 2 liters. Just do a half batch. There's no reason why you can't do that. But otherwise, I hope this has inspired you. I hope this has given you confidence with your Thermomix, another recipe for your toolkit of recipes that you make with whatever model you've got. If you have questions, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. I'm happy to demo a TM7 with you at any stage if you would like to get up close and personal with it and you live in Australia. But otherwise, take care, and I'm going to see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.